All right, guys. Today on this episode of Behind the Visual, where I interview all those people responsible for creating all the videos and pictures and images and all that kind of stuff you see out in your world every single day, I am going to talk to Sam Dermody from Ozark, also known by his real name, Kevin L. Johnson. So that's going to be the guy. Hope you like it. I am your host, advertising and lifestyle photographer, Mark Hansen. And today I am talking with Kevin L. Johnson from Ozark. And we're going to discuss all kinds of stuff, how he got started. We're going to talk about how he ended up on Ozark and how he almost lost that gig and didn't get the gig. Some movies he's been credited for that he wasn't in, some movies he didn't get credited for, but actually was in, what it's like working with Jason Bateman as an actor and a director. So then you can kind of hear what it's like as Jason Bateman. Is he a good director or is he kind of you know? Also, how to get Kevin L. Johnson to say hello and happy birthday to your mom or your friend or to you or to anybody else you know, or just, I don't know, come on and say, hi, I'm Kevin L. Johnson from Ozark and check this out. I hope you're having a great day. So whatever you want, you can kind of check that out. He's on Cameo, so we're going to talk a little bit about the thing Cameo and how to get him to say hello to you and all that kind of stuff. So, and one other thing, how he's recognized now that he's been on Ozark for 3 seasons. He was actually doing a CrossFit thing, and a little weird incident that happened with him being recognized while in the middle of doing CrossFit. So it's a really cool episode. I'm just talking on and on and on. So let's get to it. And here we go with Kevin L. Johnson. First of all, Kevin L. Johnson. Is that the L so they don't confuse you with the basketball player?
I figured, yeah, put the L in there because there's a lot. I mean, Kevin Johnson is a common name. And if you look on IMDb,
Yeah.
I think there's quite a few. So
I
I
mean,
decided to add the L, like Samuel L. Jackson,
hey, okay,
just,
now I really dig it.
it
Yeah.
just made sense. It has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good. Do you have any idea how they arrange how you are on IMDb as far as I know I'm assuming the stars are the first two or three, but how does it work after that? Do you have a clue?
Um, I mean, you can go in and edit yourself, and then they have, I guess, whoever is in charge of their IMDb page, like for the production,
Right.
probably goes back and puts them in a certain order,
Okay.
or like you could put them in order of like how many episodes somebody's in. I think that's how Ozark is.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I was wondering that because I was thinking I'd move myself right up there into the top like three or four. So I figured there had to be some way to control that. You still driving an Uber? I heard from some podcasts you were driving an Uber for a while.
oh, I stopped doing that right when everything shut down, and it just yeah, it's worked out. I mean, I was working on a project right when everything shut down,
Yeah.
including the project.
When was
But
that? Do you remember the date for that?
uh, oh, when everything shut down,
Yeah.
I think it was March 11th. I know it was like when the NBA shut down that first. Like I think that was the beginning of everything.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, because my last
but
day on set on shooting anything was March 13th. It's the last day I did anything.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Have you?
remember
Go
because
ahead.
I was done shooting for the week, and my roommate, who's also an actor, she was doing production work on something, and she was like, "Yeah, you're probably going to find out in the next day or two that next week is going to be canceled. Like, it's not going to happen." I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right." So I still got to go back and film what I was shooting at some point. I think they've started back. I'm not positive, but I haven't heard back from production about when I'm going to go back and start shooting. Because it was 2 weeks. I was booked for 2 weeks, and we got 1 week done, and then we were supposed to do some stuff back at the studio for the last week. So they might have had to rearrange some stuff. Especially if they are back, they probably had to go back and, do what they had scheduled, for like when you go
Oh yeah.
like away from the studio. I mean, you only have those locations for so many, probably, so much amount of time. So
Right.
those come first. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Are you using the what studio are you guys using?
Uh,
Well, for that, do you have a clue? I mean, is it the God?
I can't really say what the
Oh,
show
that's fine.
is.
No. What show? I was thinking like damn,
Oh,
dude.
the I actually don't know the studio because like the
How
first
many
week of
studios are in Atlanta? Are you
oh
filming in Atlanta?
wow.
Or are you filming so much?
Well, Ozark was shooting at Eagle Rock Studios.
Okay.
I heard that we moved, and I can't remember where we moved to. But the other project that I was working on, unfortunately, that I can't talk about
Yeah.
still, I haven't gotten to work at the studio yet, so I can't remember what studio they work at.
Do you have any idea how many studios
Yeah.
are in Atlanta area? So
Wow, I
I
know.
didn't even know there were studios. I knew everybody shot in Atlanta, but I didn't know there were studios
Yeah,
until the Tyler Perry thing popped up, and then I was like,
yeah.
damn,
There's Tyler Perry, Eagle Rock, Pinewood, um,
damn.
and I'm sure there's a couple
That's all
more.
right.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, not a big deal. But yeah, I was
I
just
think
wondering. I didn't even know. Okay, that's pretty cool. So no more Uber driving. Is that like a
for right
done
now,
thing,
yeah.
or is it just for right now?
Hopefully it's for good. I mean, if I get into like a complete, lag where I'm not booking anything, then obviously things change. But right now, since we're starting back up November 9th on Ozark, that's definitely going to help.
Oh, that's
So it's looking like for the future, I'm not going to have to be
okay. On
having.
Ozark, I was going to ask this later, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it now.
Sure.
Out of all the things that Sam has done, as far as being the realtor and being like a huge mama's boy, being the strip club owner, being the dude who goes and loses his ass at the casino every day, is there one of those that you enjoyed playing more than the other?
Oh wow. I still have a soft spot for season one. Like getting my favorite scene still uh, is a scene where I show up and like confront Wendy and Marty,
Yeah.
because it's a side you don't get to see of Sam very often, and to get to show that in season one was really cool. And it was funny when we shot it, because because what you see in the show is, give me my fucking money,
Right.
please. But please isn't in the script. Like it was something that Kevin felt like saying because he's talking to Jason Bateman and Laura Linney. He's just and it's like a I'm sorry kind of thing that I had to drop the F bomb on you.
Was that one of those
But
like I just cussed out my boss and asked for money kind of a
yeah,
thing? You know, like, please.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought it made sense too for the character.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I love the character of Sam. I think it's one of my favorites on the show.
Oh, thanks,
Probably
man.
besides, obviously Marty and all, I
Yeah,
think Sam and why am I blanking on her name?
Ruth.
Yes, Ruth. I don't know why I blanked on Ruth's name, but yeah, you two guys I think are amazing. Y'all definitely help make that show. And
Oh, thanks, man.
yeah, I dig it. I would love to see like you and Ruth just go off and do something like just raise hell on somebody. I would like to see Ruth get pissed off and need to go crack some dude's ass, and she for some reason she can't find anybody, so she grabs Sam and makes him go with her. That
Uh,
would be my writing
I'd be
contribution.
down for that.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. When you play that guitar?
I bought that guitar right before we started shooting season three, just to have something to do because I was bored. So I took lessons from the guy from the place I bought it. There was a guy that worked there, and he taught lessons. So I took like a month of lessons, and then we started shooting, and I stopped practicing. And then when quarantine happened, I started back up, but I haven't done it in like a month. Like it's just it's so frustrating, man. I tell myself I'm going to get back into it, but it looks cool on the wall.
It
So
does. I'm with you. I started playing when I was 16, I think, and started getting pretty decent at it by the time I, was made it to college. And I have two. I have an electric and a 12-string acoustic hanging on my walls in here in the office, but I very rarely touch them. I don't play nearly like I used to. I try and play every once in a while, but I've got, two daughters and a wife, and I just don't. It seems in the house I've always got something to do. So if
hmm
I do play, it's like maybe I'll get in an hour once every 3 months.
yeah, I mean, like when I practice, it would be like for 30 minutes a day, like on the day, because I can't go more than 30 minutes. My freaking fingers start, and and it gets frustrating. So
Oh yeah.
I'm just counting down the minutes for my alarm to go off. I'm like, all right, thank God it's over. Okay, cool. I got 30 minutes in. Eventually that'll build up to being decent at some point, right? I don't know.
Yeah, 30 minutes a day. Yeah, in a few years you'll be killing it, man.
But I haven't practiced in like a month.
That might kill you. That might kill your process, your progress a little bit. Oh, so when did you decide that this whole acting thing was what you wanted to do for a living? That you was like, this is it. This is what I've got to do. I'm not going to do anything else.
It was late in the game. It was college.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
So
Yeah, I went to Clemson, and
how is Clemson, man? My daughter, my youngest, is applying for Clemson, and it's really between UNC Chapel Hill, which she's wanted to go to for since she was in second grade, and then she went on a trip with some friends to a Clemson football game and hung out there for the weekend, and all of a sudden,
oh yeah.
it's Clemson is like very close to Chapel Hill as where she wants to go.
Oh yeah, the atmosphere is great. And Clemson is, the town itself, so it's not huge.
Right.
Like the downtown is like not even a mile. It's just this little strip of restaurants and bars. Um, and then Anderson's close. Greenville is,
Greenville's pretty
not too
cool.
far, and that's a bigger city, obviously. Um, but the campus itself, great atmosphere, and the football team definitely makes it
Yeah,
even better, especially when football season's going on. So,
yeah, I'm ready.
yeah, I mean it's an agricultural school mainly,
Okay.
but the performing arts department, I enjoyed it. Now I was in English. I went in as a computer science major, switched to an English major like a semester in because realized it wasn't what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, I like video games. Yeah. So maybe I'll make video games. That's not hard, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Programming, not easy. Switched to English, and then minored in advertising, but I always considered myself part of the performing arts department because when I got into acting, I was over there like all the time, and a lot of my friends were in the performing arts department. So I considered myself uh, part of that crew.
Was that what made you get into that? It's like you had friends that were actors and doing all that stuff, or did somebody drag you over there and say, "Hey, you should come check this out and do this"?
Oh, so when I switched over to an English major, um, one of my classes was obviously like English. I think it was called English 110. It was like an intro
Okay.
to the major, and one of the big like things we had to do during the semester was we had to go see uh, the big play of the year and then write about it.
All right.
So went to go see a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. And I had seen plays before in high school, but it was it's just different when you see it in college. It's the the sets are more elaborate. You know the the I mean the auditorium's obviously much bigger. So it just had a different feel. And I was like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. So I decided to audition for the next play coming up. I didn't get a part, but I did get to learn, like, what a cold read was. I had no idea what that meant. I just showed up at the audition and they're like, here's your sides. I was like, what are sides? Like, didn't know what didn't know what it meant to have sides. And
Okay,
yeah,
so what are sides?
oh, it's like your audition piece, like like the lines they give you,
Okay.
like the scene,
Right.
and they call it sides. I actually don't know where that sides came from. Maybe it's a Shakespeare. It came from Shakespeare.
Okay.
Like he has like his like a side to the audience kind of thing in
Okay.
this. So maybe that's where it came from. But yeah, so learn different lingo, and then and cold reads. Like, you don't do cold reads in like in film and TV, at least not that I've ever done. I mean, maybe, sometimes they do them, but you got a couple days usually before you have to tape it or go to the
Right.
audition. But in theater, at least in college, it was like obviously you knew the play, so you read the play, and then you got to the audition, and then you found out what your sides are going to be. So it was a cold read, like, and cold reads are difficult. Like,
I would think
if you don't
so.
have if you don't have a good memory, and I don't have a great my memory's not great, so cold reads were definitely not my thing.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, so I didn't get a part. It was called the Heidi Chronicles. Um, but I wanted to be a part of the production. So I asked the director, I was like, hey, is there any way I can be a part of this, behind the scenes? Like, yeah, we need tech. So I ran tech, which is its own kind of show, because there's a lot of work that goes into that,
Yeah.
especially for that play, because there was a lot of moving parts. Um, so I did that, and that's how I met a lot of people that I'm friends with today. One of my best buddies was one of the main characters in the production. Um, so that was how I got into the whole acting thing. And the following year, or the following semester, I signed up for acting classes. And then I auditioned for the next play, which was called Burial at Thebes, which was based on the Greek tragedy Antigone, and that was the big play of the year. Uh, and that was where we had to figure out, we had to have a monologue prepared. So of course I choose the easiest monologue, which is Richard III's opening monologue.
Oh yeah.
Now is the winter of our discontent. Sure, it's and the director was like, wow, you chose that as your monologue. When other people were choosing, like, monologues a little shorter, but Shakespearean monologues, usually, or uh, or Greek monologue. And I chose Richard III's soliloquy.
Well, why not? Yeah.
Go all out, right?
Absolutely.
And then I got a part in the show. And yeah, that was my first time on stage. It was a little nerve wracking, but
How was
I
that?
really enjoyed it. And it's been a crazy ride ever since.
Between something like that, doing it live in front of an audience, and doing something like a movie or TV, which one do you like better? Is there a difference? Is it equal to you, or do you prefer the feedback of the audience, or
I
like
haven't done live theater since college. I mean, because it's hard to find theater that pays well, where you
oh
can.
yeah,
And I mean, if you're, like, say I wasn't working on a show, um, and I had never booked like Ozark, so I didn't have that money set away. If I was to audition for a play and book a play, and I worked in the restaurant business for a good while. I would have to take, I'd have to take a lot of days off for rehearsals. I mean, when you are working on a play, I mean, it's rehearsal probably Monday through Friday or something, and at nighttime, like it it's really hard to do. And if you can find theater that pays, I mean, like Equity, but those are hard to find, like,
Yeah.
and they're
Speaking
just
of
not going to
pay,
hire.
how does Ozark structure? Not, I don't want to know what you make, but
Right.
how does that, because since it's a streaming kind of deal, do you guys still get residuals on this kind of deal, or is it like a lump sum up front or at the end or whatever? How's that work?
So I find out what my rate is at the beginning of the season, um, and whether I'm like a series regular or guest star or day role. So those are the kind of the categories.
Right.
And I'm a guest star recurring right now.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, so it's they don't have me locked down um, for like the duration of the run. Like if they
Right.
had me as a series regular, uh, that'd be a contract, and they would have me locked down,
Right.
which I would love. Don't get me wrong,
Oh,
I would.
yeah.
Series regular, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That's definitely every actor's one of every actor's goal to have in their career is to be a series regular on a TV show.
Yeah.
Um,
I think.
so yeah, so we find out at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the run, the of shooting, what the contract's going to be, and then unless you're a series regular, you're 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 not locked down, so you can audition for other things.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you get paid? Because I know, like, with, say, you do a movie or you do a TV show and then it airs
Hmm.
again. Because I have a friend of mine who was in Hunger Games, and every time that damn movie airs, which seems like it's almost every day,
Oh yeah, residuals.
she
That's
gets
right.
some kind of residuals from it.
Yeah.
You guys get
Uh,
residuals as well on Netflix?
yes. It takes a little longer for streaming. The new contract that SAG-AFTRA was able to get um, makes it a little. It's I think it's 90 days now instead of like a year or something. But so since season 3 came out at the end of March,
Right.
um, they have 90 days after that to send the residuals to SAG, and then SAG has I think 60 days to start sending them out, and then it takes like another 15 to 30 days to arrive at, so it should be coming relatively soon, I think. I'm trying to add up the days here. It's
Do you know how they base that? I mean, do they base it on people who are watching it? Do they base it on how many days it's
oh
running?
I called to find that out one time, and it's what your principal pay,
Right.
like what you get paid up front when you're shooting the show, like if you get paid
Say a thousand
uh
dollars or something.
yeah,
Just
so say you got paid $1,000 for one day, you would get, man, I want to say it's like 30% of what you of your principal pay. I'd have to go back and look at, I wrote it down somewhere, but yeah, your first residual check for the season um is usually your best one.
right.
Uh, so I'm looking forward to those checks.
Yeah, I bet.
They should be coming any time now, I would think. I mean, if it's like a 90-day thing, I'm gonna have to call SAG just to double check.
Find
Thanks
out,
for
get your
reminding me.
money, man. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know whoever came up with that whole idea. That was genius. Because my cousin was the original cowboy in the Village People. So every time one of those Village People songs plays someplace, like on the radio or wherever, he's getting a cut.
It's
So every quarter he gets a check. I mean, it's been since the 70s or whatever, and he still gets a check every time that stuff goes off.
yeah, I get checks. Let's see if I got a stub here that's funny. Well, no, I already ripped them up after I deposited them. But I've gotten checks for like 10 cents,
Yeah.
15 cents for like One Tree Hill back in
Right.
like 2010, 2011 or something like that. Yeah.
Well, God, my daughter will be excited because I have a friend of mine, Burgess Jenkins. He's an actor, and
Oh, I know.
I
I mean, I know Burgess. I
you know
haven't.
Burgess.
I know of him. I don't know if we've actually. I think we might have met in a at Corgan and Johnston, like when we were
Oh
auditioning one
yeah,
time.
that would make sense.
Yeah, but
Right.
I've definitely heard of Burgess. He's a he's a big deal in the Southeast for sure, and
He's
he's
a
got
good
a.
dude. He's a really good guy. I think if you guys got together, you'd like him. I met him years ago when he just first started modeling. So I was shooting him for something. I don't even remember what it was. So we've shot a few times, and I was talking to him, and then I told my daughter I shot him that he was on One Tree Hill because her and her boyfriend were watching the whole series, and she was like, "Oh my God, really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she saw who he was. So then I have to show you. She doesn't watch Ozark. So I'll have her tell her I talked to you and show her your picture, and she'll probably flip out again. So there's somebody else that
Is she old enough to watch Ozark?
yeah, she's 20. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
was gonna say like, yeah, if she's, 9 or 10, then probably Ozark wouldn't be
I
something
was
that she would
17
want
year
to
old and
watch.
20-year-old. So they could both, my 17-year-old, she's got so much schoolwork, she can hardly watch anything. And then,
Right.
yeah, we told her about Ozark. My wife, though, we watched the first season of Ozark. And my wife's like, this stresses me out. I can't do it anymore. I'm not watching it anymore. Because she watches it, and to her, it's like, this could be real. This could be us. We could be. And I'm watching it going, okay, these people are actors. How'd they shoot this? So I'm watching it that way. So she's stressing. She's like, I'm not watching season 2. I can't do it. So I start watching season 2. And I'm sitting in the living room watching it. And she goes, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm watching season 2 of Ozark. She said, you want without me? Sorry, well, you said that you didn't want to watch it anymore. It was too stressful. She goes, no, I think I want to watch it again. So then I had to back up. I think I'd watched 5 episodes at that point. So we went back and watched it all over again. Now she's hooked. So
Did y'all finish season 3 yet?
yeah, man, finished it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, good luck to you.
Fingers crossed,
With the
right?
Sam, yeah. Yeah. Well, at least you know you're coming back. So that part's good. They've
Yeah,
told you they're
yeah.
coming season 4.
I've been staying in contact with our showrunner, so I know what I'm doing in the first half. I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing in the second half yet. If I'm in the second half, I should
Have they
say.
decided on the season 5? Like, is there a set? It's like a season 4 or are they just leaving season it open for a season 5 kind of a thing?
Season 4 is going to be the final season.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, but we're going to go out with a bang. I think it's yeah, it's going to be good.
I'd hate to be the writers for this, man, because that's a big thing. The way a show ends, because like Sopranos ended, everybody's like, "What the hell happened there?" And then Breaking Bad ended, and it was, "Oh, that ended well."
Hmm.
Although I heard an explanation for how The Sopranos ended, and then I thought, "Oh, okay, well then that makes sense." Did you watch that Sopranos?
I watched it after. Um, I think I watched it every now and then when it was actually on.
Yeah.
But then I went back and somebody let me borrow the DVDs, and I think I finished the whole thing. I do remember the final episode and that final scene. Everybody's like, "What just happened?"
Somebody,
Just fade
I read an article
fade to
that
black.
explained like there were 2 different camera angles, and you saw
Oh, okay.
one from Tony's perspective. So like the guys walked in the door, all that was all Tony's perspective, and then the other was like the perspective of the dude coming in or the other people. So at the very end, you were looking at Tony's perspective, and so that
Hmm.
weird the guy he was like watching and like couldn't figure out you were like there's something weird about this dude, and he walks to the bathroom, and they're saying it was Tony's perspective, and that's why it just went black because the dude came back from the bathroom, put a bullet in his.
Oh, I mean I felt like that was one of the theories, right? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
he
Nobody
got
said that's exactly it, but
he
I
got
thought that
whacked.
makes sense.
What was it? Because his daughter was showing up, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And don't stop believing was the song that was playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. And then Game of Thrones. God, everybody was bitching about the Game of Thrones ending. So
I know, I liked it.
I thought it was
You
fine.
know,
I thought it ended exactly. I thought it was worked perfect. I didn't
I
think
was
anything wrong with it.
I was late into the game on Game of Thrones because there was just something about like medieval stuff,
Yeah.
and I said, you know what, I'm not going to enjoy this. And a buddy was like, dude, you need to watch it. And I didn't get into it until uh, the right. I think it was like 2 years before the final season actually aired.
Oh yeah.
So I watched it before that. So I was jacked up for the final season because I had just binge watched all this,
Yeah.
for like a couple months, and then I have to wait a year and a half, and then when it finally, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be epic, because I was ready to go.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I mean, there are obviously people who were upset about Danny's heel turn, as they say in wrestling, where she burns down the city.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty. I remember when I saw that, and she made the choice to do that. I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that's yeah, she's gonna die obviously
Yeah.
now. You can't you can't burn down a city, have the final season, and have that person survive. I just it's it's yeah, that's an
Yeah.
unwritten rule, I would think.
Yeah. I'm with. I was the same way. I was actually looking for ideas on. I wanted to shoot like some little short video thing for myself, and I was looking for ideas on lighting or whatever and how to shoot. And I'm flipping channels, and I see it, and I'm not like a. I don't. I don't think I've ever watched a movie with a dragon in it or anything like that in my life. And medieval stuff's like, not really
Hmm.
into it. But then I liked the way it was filmed, so I stopped and watched for a second, and then next thing I knew it was like boobs and some dude got his head cut off. And I was like, all right, I'm in. Let's watch this a little bit longer. And then it turned into watching the whole series. But yeah,
Yeah, that
normally I wouldn't.
yeah, it's
Somebody just told me about it. I'm like, not interested.
yeah, it was a vulgar show. It was
Yes.
gruesome. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching The Boys right now, season
How's that?
2. Oh, so good.
Is it?
Yeah, I watched season 1 when it came out last year. Um, and they knew the show was going to be so popular that this time around they didn't have them. They don't have all the episodes. So maybe Amazon is going to start doing that now, where uh, you don't see they don't all stream at once.
Right.
So they could be changing that up. Um, and that makes you want to see the next episode even more. So it's they
I've seen the promos for it, but I have not watched it yet. But I've
think
heard
of
other people say it was good.
yeah, it's like an anti superhero show. So
Okay.
like they're called soups, and they're divas. Not all of them, but they're most of them are divas, uh, and just like they think they run the world. It's it's really good. It's yeah. I don't want I can't say too much because I would give it away.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Well, good because I've been looking for something else to watch. I'm like, all right, I need to watch something in between because I've watched just about everything that I wanted to watch. So I'm looking for some new stuff. So all right, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, man, I think you'd like it.
What was it like your first time on a major production going on set? Was it? I mean, did you walk on and like, I had no idea all this went on to make what I saw, or did you kind of have an idea?
Um, I'm trying to think. So my first major production was probably One Tree Hill, and yeah, it was a. But my stuff in One Tree Hill was was away from the studio back when they shot it in um, where did they shoot? Wilmington,
Right. Yep.
and And it was interesting, like, going to set, having somebody meet you at your car, say, hey, here's where your trailer is. You guys, do you want any breakfast? We got the breakfast going right now. And it's like, it's so weird because I'm not used to being waited on like hand and foot.
Right.
But it's part of the process. So it's still kind of weird. But then you get on set and things are rolling pretty quickly. Yeah, it's like an adrenaline rush. It's almost like, being in a football game or a basketball game, or like you're jacked up and you're ready to do your thing, kind of deal, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Damn, I think that'd be great. Did you ever live in LA?
No, I've never lived in LA.
Did you consider that, or just things start rolling here, so you were like, why?
If something calls me out there,
Right.
then I'd be down for it. But I mean, I have an agent and a manager out in LA, as well as my agent that I've always had in the Southeast.
How do they split
So I
that
get
up as far as the country goes? Does it say they both got a call for something filming in Atlanta? How would that work for you?
Well, if it's like there's like a local casting director,
Okay.
and then there's like the main casting director, and a lot of times head casting is either LA or New York.
Okay.
So if I get called in by sorry, my phone's going off of me.
That's right.
If I get called in from like head casting to like tape, then it would be, yeah, my Southeast agent has local, like he deals with local casting.
Okay. All right.
Whereas Zero Gravity, my manager out in LA, and TCA, my agent, they deal with like head casting usually.
Okay. Does everybody take 10% or they take more? Do you have like a manager and then an agent? Do they each take like 10, or does one take 20, one takes 10, how they end up? Because I know for me as a photographer, it's somewhere between,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the agent, it's between 25 and 30%. If,
Oh,
so I don't know how it works when you have an agent and you have a manager and all that.
so if I get cast out of, if it's something out of LA, it's 10% to my my LA agent and 10% to my manager.
Okay.
If I get cast out of something in the Southeast, it'd be a different like there's a different
Right.
percentage thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just wondering. I didn't know because I thought it was somewhere around like 10 and 10 for most actors, but I wasn't absolutely sure. As a photographer,
Yeah,
I
but then
feel
you
like
get like, if you got like three, I think it's my Southeast agent, if he gets me something out of the Southeast, my manager still gets 10%. And then LA and Southeast, like they split. So it's like
split it.
5 and 5.
Oh wow.
That's how
Okay.
they do it. Yeah.
So LA gets money no matter what.
Yeah.
They worked that out right. Damn. I saw that you had, and I listened to a couple of podcasts that said you were credited for American Made, but you were actually got cut by the time the editing was done and didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I don't know if you know this or not, I read an article that said you were great in American Made and you held your own with Tom Cruise on screen, and you did a great job. I didn't know if they saw like some kind of version that nobody else has seen or that you haven't seen or didn't know about, or if that's out there and you've seen it, and or what the deal that was. But I thought that was
I think I've seen that article. But I mean, there's so many different articles that people do online. Some of them are just things that they kind of make up the story because they see the IMDb page. They're like, oh, okay, he was in American Made. Oh, he's also in the new Walking Dead show, which I got cut out of. So yeah.
Hey, you still got paid for being there, right? Although you don't get
Oh
your
yeah.
residuals, I guess, because you're not actually
But somehow I got residuals for American Made.
really okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm in the credits, but I was in the movie Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman and
Oh,
Viola Davis and Paul Dano, because my scene is at the end of the movie. Like I think I actually have like the last line of the movie, um, and I assumed that I got cut out of the movie because it said uncredited on IMDb, months before it came out. So I called SAG and, I was like, does that mean I'm not in the movie? And they're like, well, um, we don't know. You just have to wait till it comes out. So I just assumed that I didn't make the cut. And then I'm at work one day and somebody went to go see the movie and like, hey, we saw you in Prisoners. And I said, really? Like, yeah, you're at the end of the movie. It's like, oh, wow. I mean, I wanted to see the movie anyways because it was supposed to be really good.
yeah.
But I was like, all right, well, yeah, I guess I got to go see it in theaters now. But yeah, it took forever to get residuals for that because they had me uncredited. So I had to go through SAG, and it took years to
Really?
finally see residuals for that. Yeah, it was.
And they just grab the clip from the movie and be like, here, look, that's me.
Yeah, I had to send them, proof because it was production that decided to uncredit me. So SAG, had to go. It was a whole process. Like they had to like sue or something.
Is there a
I mean, I
reason they
wasn't.
uncredited you on that thing? Did they have a reason for that, or
I
they just say, I don't know what?
don't. I don't know, but it's like I wasn't the only one. There were other people that had, you know, filed a complaint with SAG, like, hey, Warner Brothers, and it was a Warner Brothers show. It was a Warner Brothers movie. So it was amazing that I was uncredited and not getting residuals for something I'm clearly in. And
Maybe
so I'm
somebody
like,
just needed some extra cash, so they thought, how many people can we cut out of
right? Yeah.
because
But
I'm
then there was like another movie called The Fifth Wave where I'm basically a glorified background artist, and I got I get residuals for that. Like it's just it makes no sense sometimes. It's a crazy business.
damn man. Okay. Yeah, I've never had anything like that. Well, I had sometime I found the only thing that's I haven't had any close was I found out somebody was using my images for something to promote a nightclub years and years and years ago. But then I could never find it and couldn't get in touch with the people. When I did find it, but I could never get in touch with who had it. And it was I probably wouldn't have gotten $100 out of it if I'd gotten anything. So really wasn't worth it. So how did Ozark happen? So at what point did you get that and go, was that something you had to like really audition for? How'd the script show up? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I got the audition through my Southeast agent. I didn't have any representation out in LA yet. Ozark was what helped me get that.
Okay.
So I moved to Atlanta in like late 2015, and then I got that audition uh, like in the middle of 2016. Saw the breakdown, saw it. I was like, yeah, okay, this looks interesting. All right, and I saw that Jason Bateman was attached to it. Um, so I looked up, who had created the show and what else he had done, and I was like, oh yeah, Bill Dubuque. He he did the movie. Um, oh man, what was it called? With Ben Affleck. I always forget it.
The accountant?
The Accountant.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So same guy, Bill Dubuque, who
Okay.
wrote that, created Ozark, and because he grew up like he would go to the Ozarks when he was a kid, so that's how he kind of came up with the show.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so I got the breakdown. I saw Sam Dermody, real estate agent in the Ozarks, affable, uh, has a dog and loves peanut butter, I think is what it said. um, and I was like, all right. So I did the audition, felt really good about it. I was just basically myself in the audition. I didn't want to try to be like like some kind of wacky character.
Was Jason Bateman
And
producing at this time, at this point, or no?
oh yeah, he produced it from season 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and when I did the audition, felt good about it, sent it in. I was I was like, man, maybe this is something I'll book. Because it's a blessing when you book in this business. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
so tough. And I found out from my manager that I had at the time, that casting was like, yeah, they're gonna go with somebody older. And I was like, all right, yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
I've been rejected before, so we'll get the next one. And then I'm driving to Charlotte for a callback for a short film, and my agent calls me and says, hey, they want to book you for Ozark. And it was just like, what? And because you just never know how these things are going to happen. It's the
Yeah.
weirdest. Like, who knows if somebody, their schedules didn't work out where they couldn't, take on the role. It was funny because when I got on set, I think at one point our script supervisor, Pam, she was like, are you from LA or are you from Atlanta? I was like, oh no, I'm from Atlanta. It's like, oh wow, we lucked out. So like she thought I was, you know, from LA
Cool.
casting. And it's like, no, I live here. Um, so
What'd your
it's
parents
been
think
great.
when you told them that this is what you wanted to do? So you went all the way through college
Yeah.
and took that money, and then go. You know what? I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah. I told my dad over the phone, like my senior year in college, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And he goes, well, that's great, but I'm not paying for you. So yeah, I mean, it took some time. I mean, they were always there to support me, uh, but like once, because I mean, they knew it was going to be a tough road,
Yeah.
So, but they were always there to support me. Um, and like I think when I got my first agent, who I still have, uh, and then I booked my first, big job, or like when I booked One Tree Hill and I started booking commercials and things like that, I think they realized that, that things, he's like, all right,
Might
cool.
be a
Yeah,
real deal. Yeah.
I think this is the real deal. And then when I booked Ozark, um, not knowing how big it was going to be,
Yeah.
like when I got the audition, it was supposed to be 2 to 3 episodes at the time. And I got on set and I guess they just fell in love with me and, loved what I was bringing to the role. And they
That's
just
great.
kept writing more stuff. And yeah, here I am.
That's got to be a good feeling to know that you're booked really for only like 3 or 4 episodes or whatever, and then they like you enough that they just keep writing you in and in and in more and more.
Go from 2 to 3 episodes to all 4 seasons. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty, yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I think good things are going to happen after Ozark's over. I feel like doors are already opening, windows are opening, but it's still a grind, obviously,
Oh yeah.
you still got to bring your A game, all that stuff. But it definitely helps having a big show like Ozark under your belt
Oh, I would think
for
so.
sure.
Yeah. How long are those days, man? Is like, are you putting in like 12-hour days on this thing? Or are they capping them
Um,
at 10?
I want to say the max is 12, but it also depends on like when I get there. Like
Right.
if if I have like 1 or 2 scenes, when I'm there to shoot, if it's at the front half, like if I'm the first scene up, then I could be out in like 2 hours or something.
Okay.
Like it like if you have a later scene in the day, then that's when it's the whole hurry up and wait
What do you do
thing.
with it?
Like
Because there's a ton of downtime. What do you do with all that downtime?
chill in your trailer, have go to this go to Crafty, get some snacks. Um, it's going to be different when we go back now, obviously because of because
COVID.
of COVID.
Yeah.
Uh, so we had a safety meeting a couple weeks ago over Zoom with like 60 people
Oh,
on
wow.
it, and we were talking about like how everything was going to go. And Jason was asking a lot of good questions to the medic, um, and the people that were going to be in charge of dealing with doing the tests and all that stuff. So it's going to be different, but I think we're going to make it happen. So I know some productions have had unfortunate things happen. Like I think
Yeah.
the Batman with Robert Pattinson,
Yeah, I saw that.
he got COVID, so they had to obviously shut down for a little bit. Um, so we're just gonna take it day by day, and we'll see what happens.
Dude, go grab some Nozin before you go on set. It's Nozin. And a friend of mine's a surgeon,
Hmm.
and he told me I had to go to fly to Memphis end of July. And I was like, should I fly or should I just drive? I really did not want to drive. It's like 10 and a half hours or something.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, no, man. He said they used to get staph infections. All his patients, not all his patients, but every so many patients or there's a certain percentage of patients got staph infections in either their knee or their hip because he does knee and hip replacements. He
Hmm.
said, so he's been all over the world trying to find a way to stop the infections. And he started using this nose and stuff because he met the guys who make it. And it's really just a swab. You just run around the tip of your inside of your nose. And he said, since he's been doing that, not one staph infection. And he was like, where use this nose and stuff? He said, somehow the DNA in the nose matched the DNA in the knee. And they don't know if it was like they wiped their nose and then touched their knee or if it just went through the body or whatever. He said, but since he's been using it, no staph infections. I've been using it on set, and I've been on a couple of sets where we found out a model or a makeup artist ended up having COVID. I've been good. I flew to Memphis and back, been good. And he said, because it kills 99.99% of the virus germs and viruses that go up through your
Wow.
nose or around your nose. And he swears by the stuff. So I'm using it every time we go anyplace. I'm going to be around a bunch of people. And it's like
Okay.
bucks or something.
I wonder why I haven't heard about that before.
Yeah, I don't know. They're not. He's promoted it on some stuff because he was talking. They actually had him on CNN or something. He was talking about it, and some other doctors promoted it. But he's into it. Like he was selling me on it to the point where I was like, "Can I invest in the company?" But
Interesting.
and
Okay.
he's not invested. He said he's thinking about it, but he swears it'll help prevent it. You know, because there's always people doing like this or whatever. But I think
Oh yeah.
even he made it sound like that somehow I guess it gets in your nose and you can kind of breathe in the alcohol and the orange. It doesn't burn. It feels good. I feel like I'm doing an ad for Nosen right now, and I'm not getting paid for it. So
Just have like a right across the screen
yeah,
when
I'm
you
gonna have to
edit
call
it.
them
Just
right after this and hey, you want to give me some money? I'll run a little Nosen ad up along the screen there. When you guys are on set, actually, and I'm actually using it in 2 weeks. I got to be on. I'm doing some unit stills on a Hallmark thing that's shooting up here in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna use it then as well.
oh okay.
But when you're on set, with different directors, what's the difference in the directors? Because a lot of times I look at these and I'm assuming it's the same, you know, DP on the whole show, and so it all has the same kind of look and same camera. It seems like the same kind of feel with the camera, but I can't tell a huge difference in directors. But I'm assuming there's a difference that you guys can tell.
Um, well, TV is a little different than film because you have directors come in and out, and like a lot of times the main characters of like we've already established who they are.
Right.
Uh, so really, the director comes in and brings their creativity to it, but also kind of lets the actors kind of do their thing, because they, like, I know by season 3, I know who Sam is. I mean,
Right.
so they just kind of facilitate and, you know, bring their own style to it. It's hard to explain. It's like, yeah, like I'm guessing they look, before they start shooting their block, they'll have the episodes, and they'll look at the scripts
Right.
and um kind
I
of
think if
figure
you
out
wanted to be a director,
how they
that's the
want.
way the easiest way to start out would be directing an episode of a TV show first.
I think that's one of um the like to
Right.
get
Yeah. On the
there,
levels or
yeah.
whatever. Start off
But
doing that kind of
but a
deal.
lot of people do a lot of TV directing. Like it's very interesting. Like when you look at the credits sometimes for some of your favorite TV shows, you're like, oh wow, I know that actor. He
Yeah.
directed that, or she directed that. Wow. Um, but yeah, I can't imagine how hard it is to get into directing, for one thing. Like it's just like how do you become a Steven Spielberg or Ron Howard or something? It's just
Yeah.
it's
I
all
don't
the
have a
thing.
clue. And I thought before I did one small little thing and I thought, whatever, I can do this. Well, I went back and watched it and I was like, God, this is horrible. And then I watched this on Masterclass. Ron Howard had a whole thing. And I was watching Ron Howard's Masterclass on directing. And I was like, there's so much that I had no clue that goes into directing like a major motion picture or whatever that he's talking about. And like, it's ridiculous to actually think about all the stuff you have to do. It's not just sitting up there and going, all right, action. Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it again. I didn't like that.
yeah. Jason's a good or he's a good director. Yeah, um, and like he just has an eye for it,
Yeah.
and he's really, and a lot of times, like when you have an actor that's directing, it's they know um, how to kind of just uh, they have a direction that they want to go in, um, and they trust the actor, you know, to take them in that direction.
Right.
And like he gives his notes are very easy to understand. So yeah, he goes in with a plan, and then he lets the actor kind of do their thing. And it's really cool when he's directing and acting in the same scene. So you see, so you're doing a scene with Jason, and then he cuts, and then he goes to Video Village, takes a look at it. It's it's got to be difficult, but
I
yeah,
think.
he's great
Yeah.
at it.
How many times does he go back there and look at it and go, God, I sucked in that one. Let's do it again. Because I think for me, that would be the worst part. So I'd go back and watch myself and go, no, I can do it better. And you just keep doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
What's the most you've had to do the same scene over and over and take after take after take? Have you had anything like in your career that has been like, that made me do it
Ooh.
30 times, 40 times?
Oh wow. I'm trying to think.
'Cause I think there was some scene, I want to say it was Stanley Kubrick, maybe. There
Oh
was
yeah, he
somebody was
was.
supposed to cry and he didn't like the way she was crying.
Oh
So she made her do it like 100 and something times until she was literally crying for real. And then he was like, all
that's
right, we got it.
yeah, that sounds like a Stanley Kubrick thing. So there was a movie I did called "Careful What You Wish For," with which was shot in North Carolina. Uh, Actually, it was shot in Charlotte, I think. And it had Nick Jonas, Dermot Mulroney, Paul Sorvino, and I had a good role in it. I had a nice supporting role, and there was a scene where I'm supposed to be looking for uh, Nick Jonas's character on a dock, and I'm waving a flashlight, and I had to spike the lens, which was way
Oh,
down the
wow.
dock, but you can't look at the camera. So that was like I had to do that probably like 15, 20 times because it just wasn't working. And I got I was frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
Um, and, and I felt like, oh man, I'm letting everybody down because like I'm not able to do this. Like I'm such an amateur. And I got hard. I was pretty hard on myself. So that was I got through it, but it
Well,
was
that's a
something I'll
hard thing to
always
have to do.
remember. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
think just in general, that's a hard thing to have to do, especially if you're far away from the camera. You can't.
And then
Over there.
like when I got closer, I needed to hit certain marks with the light so you could see it on camera. And it's it was yeah, it was different. Like the technical stuff sometimes can be very, very complicated. And then and you throw in making it natural. Like it's a challenge.
Have
Yeah.
you ever had a director go, just be natural?
Oh, use that
Yeah,
direction.
use the terms like, okay, I just need you to just be natural.
I haven't had anybody do that.
Oh, well,
Thank
thank God.
God. Yeah, that's or or line read. You never want a director to line read you. Although Jason did once, but it was I needed it because it just wasn't coming across because I read the line wrong. It was season 1 where I'm in the funeral home and we're talking about what we're gonna do for my mom.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I can't remember. Like I think the line was "That's so mom" or something like that. But like I wasn't picking up on what it was, how it was supposed to be delivered, because the way I was delivering it, it felt weird to me. I was like, this just isn't working. I was
Right.
like, Jason, why is this line just not working? He's like, um, or no, it was so like the line was so mom, comma or dot 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 or something, but I didn't know what that meant. And he's like, well, think about it like this, like you're, like so mom. I was like, oh, that's
Oh,
okay. That's what you're, so that was I needed that line read, you know.
yeah.
So that was, or I would have never gotten it.
Well, that's good. He was there to help you out on that, as opposed to
Yeah,
just
yeah. He was
making you do
directing
it
that
over and
episode.
over again and going, all right, no, that's not it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. So you've been
That
getting,
was my last scene of the season.
oh yeah?
That
Okay.
was the last scene uh, in in the first season for Sam. Yeah.
How was, I don't even know. I was going to say having your mom, because Sam was such a mama's boy, and then having mom just wiped out. It seemed like it was tragic, but a relief at the same time.
Yeah, it's I think it made sense. As much as I love working with Sharon, she's awesome. I think it made sense because to have Sam grow, something like
Yeah.
that had to happen. Uh, so without like Wendy coming in and working with us at the real estate office, I never would have gotten the courage to stand up to my mom. And then season 2, I never would have met, my girlfriend on the show if it wasn't for Wendy.
What's that like dating a
So
stripper?
gives you confidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, you take the good with the bad with when it comes to Wendy. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah. Uh, they use a lot of special effects on that show, or is it mostly just straight in camera stuff? And I'm thinking about your mom Sam's mom getting hit by in the road and all that.
For the most part, it's just camera stuff. I mean, for that, obviously, they took a lot of pictures, of her, like to make the 3D image.
Right.
Um, and then they put like a dummy in the road, and that was what got hit by the truck. and then they, superimpose like her body on the dummy.
Have they done
Like,
anything like um, made dummies that look just like the actors on that show? I'm thinking about
I,
there was Sons of Anarchy had one, and there was a dude who they were torturing in a kitchen. Did you ever watch that show?
I never got into Sons of
It
Anarchy.
sounds like that's a disturbing show. Um, but they had a guy, and basically, I can't remember if they just like put an axe in his head or whatever it was, but they made this thing look exactly like that guy. So when they did it all, you thought they were really ripping into this dude. And I was like, how'd they do that? And then I saw behind the scenes that it wasn't actually him. They had him and the dummy standing beside each other. But I don't know if you guys did anything like that. Not that there's a ton that would need that for, I don't think,
Um,
on Ozark.
I'm sure they've done it for some. I know in season 1, the strip club owner,
Yeah.
Bobby Dean, like when I think they find him in the water, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was a dummy.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
pretty good. I hate to have had to do that one over and over again. You've been getting more roles, offers, that kind of thing since this whole thing popped up, or at least since season 3 came out?
uh, well, since season 3 came out, a lot of production has been shut down.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Yeah. So I guess you really have.
uh, so casting has got back up and running. So, um, it's I haven't gotten a ton of auditions right now, but that just could be like what my breakdown is. Like maybe it's tough to find like something in my breakdown right now. Who knows? But it just started back up, so I feel good about things getting going again. I had a fun audition for the show Yellowstone a couple weeks ago,
Oh, yeah.
um, and
I need to
that
watch
went
that.
to.
I haven't watched that either.
I saw the pilot, but yeah, the audition went to producers. Um, I think I was a little too young for the role. It said 40s,
Yeah.
so maybe that was why I didn't
You need to grow this out
get it.
more.
Yeah, yeah, I had even more. I think I even had more than this
Oh,
when I
really?
shot it. But I mean, I'm 38, but I got the baby face. It's what it is. Everybody's like,
Like,
man, you're
man, I
still,
can do this. You just need a good makeup department. If you
yeah.
had a good makeup department, this wouldn't be an issue.
They're like, your skin is so, so nice. I was like, yeah, yeah, I can still play young. Um, like if I'm clean shaven,
Yeah.
I could still play like maybe late 20s,
Oh, yeah. I would think
early
so.
30s. So,
My
yeah.
daughters were watching Outer Banks. I guess it's filmed in Charleston, but it's supposed to be in North Carolina. The lead in that
Hmm.
show is supposed to be 16. The dude's 27 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is
Yeah. But he's supposed to be like
oh,
16.
the main guy.
Yeah. His name's John B,
Wow.
I think. And
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
he's supposed to
27. Wow, I
be
didn't know that.
16. Dude's 27 years old. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody on that show is 20 or 21 and up.
Yeah,
Except for
I know
there's
he's
some girl who's a
dating the
12 year
main
old.
girl in real life. I think.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think so. I think they're dating in real life.
Well, they spend a lot of time on screen together, so I guess that makes sense. There's some girl in there that's supposed to be his sister, and she's supposed to be 12 or 13, I think, and she's 17 years old. Like,
Yeah, they got to do that with TV though. It's so funny when you watch like those high school shows and you see people
oh,
in
yeah.
high school and you're like, yeah, that's not high school.
No. Well, I guess otherwise you
Those
can't work them right.
yeah, those people are in college.
Yeah.
Like 13 Reasons Why. I was like, yeah, they're in college. And if not in college, they're out of college.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like I said, for production reasons, you kind of have to do it. Otherwise, you're limited to the amount of time you can have them on set, or you got to pay for their teachers on top of it and all that other stuff you got to do. So, you
I
turn
think
down anything?
they look a lot younger. Oh, so what now?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say they look a lot younger than they did back in the day. I remember watching like Scream and
Yes.
seeing like, come on, come on. Those kids were in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
give me
no.
a break.
Well, at least they're trying to at least cast them a little better now, make it a little more realistic.
Yeah, yeah. They were so tall, and it was
Yeah.
like or American Pie. I mean, as much as I love those movies, when I look back on them now, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, there's some I was watching. I flipped channels the other day. I think it was Empire Strikes Back or something was on. I can't remember which one it was. Whichever one where Luke loses his hand fighting Darth Vader. And I was watching it, and I've maybe watched the first three Star Wars and then one afterwards. So I haven't really seen the other ones. But I was watching the special effects, and I was like, God, and to think when I first watched this back whenever it first came out, I was like, oh, that's so cool, and thought it was so real. And now I look at it and go, not quite, nowhere even
Not
close.
quite.
Yeah. Oh, so I was saying, have you had any roles you've turned down for one reason or another, other than you're already booked?
Uh, no, not yet.
That's good. So nobody's coming out at you with anything just weird as hell.
Well, I mean, oh yeah, no, I do get emails or like Facebook messages sometimes about projects, and uh, I mean, I send them to my manager because I don't like to do that stuff on my own.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm like, thank you for the interest. And they could be good project. Like I just don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I trust my manager to be able to find out all that stuff for me. Like I don't want to do that behind his back. So
That's smart. Yeah.
yeah, I've had some people contact me on Facebook and and Instagram and Twitter, and I'm like, yeah, just I would love to know more. Just contact my manager, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Well, that's good because it is something that you don't want to do. It keeps you from having to say no, unless your manager say
Yeah,
no. Or you don't have to be the bad guy.
yeah.
Tell me about Cameo, man. How's that work?
Oh, Cameo. I well, I started that. I think after season two, but I didn't see a big hit until like after season three came out. I got a ton of cameos. And like what was it? Mother's Day.
Really?
I made like $800 that weekend. It was
Oh,
crazy. Like it was
wow.
just like I had like 6 or 7 in one day come in, and it's a good way to make some money,
Yeah.
on the side, and also to stay in contact with fans. Um, and they do like uh, like charities where you can, put like 25% of your whatever you make, and you can
Right.
send and to a charity. So yeah, Cameo is great.
I don't even know how it came up. Somehow I hadn't even heard. I think barely remember hearing something about it a year or so ago. And then somehow it popped up on, I don't even know where it popped up, Instagram maybe or someplace, or I saw it someplace else and maybe it was an ad running on something. And I just clicked on it and checked it out. There are a ton of people on there. But
Yeah, it's getting bigger. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. I guess especially if you want to have some. How do you do it? I mean, do you just take your iPhone or your phone and just record something and say, "Hey, mom, happy birthday," or "Happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day," or whatever?
Yeah. So they send you whoever wants the shout out. They'll send you like, hey, can you say happy birthday to my mom? And if you could throw in an Ozark reference, that'd be great. We love the show. Just finished season 3, and so you have something to go off of when they send you like
Okay.
what they want. Yeah.
You got any weird requests from that thing?
I haven't got anything weird.
Anybody's like, "Hey, say hi to my mom and let the dog lick your toes," kind of a deal.
No, nothing like that. I mean, they have had, they want me to like do the whole thing in character, so to speak,
Okay.
which is interesting because I'm like, Sam, and like, I guess he's kind of timid. I mean, I guess I could be that, so
Yeah,
it's,
it's a little. Yeah, I
it's
could see that because it's not like Sam's got some really strange personality or the way he talks or something that would make you have to really like
right.
kick into
It's not,
character.
yeah,
But
it's not like Ruth, so, but yeah, Cameo is a great way to make a little extra income for sure.
I think I mean, it sounds like a cool idea, especially if like you have like my wife or my kids or my mom was a huge fan. Pay whatever it is, 50, 100, $200, depending on who it is. I saw somebody was like a
Oh
buck.
yes,
Some,
yeah. Some of them are expensive. Like I
I saw somebody
I
was like
put my
$400, but I can't remember. It was some closer to A-list kind of celebrity. I can't remember who it was though.
yeah. There's some pretty high priced ones. I mean, mine's 40, which I think is reasonable.
I think it should
So
go up. My advice for you would be to go up, especially as
I
season 4 comes out. I'd go up.
I put it at 50 once, and I think it was tough to get some, so I dropped it
Oh,
down to
really?
40.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
40 looks a little more like 40 just looks more.
It's kind of like putting
Uh,
49 instead of 50. It's basically the same
uh,
price. Oh, it's still got the 4.
yeah, until you drop that 5, and it's like, whoa, $50.
Yeah. All
But
right.
there's some reason like 40 is a little
How long do
like,
they
oh, $40.
last?
Okay.
How long does the cameo last? Like, is there a certain time limit? Is it like a 30-second kind of deal, or is it 2 minutes, or does it
Oh,
just kind of depend on how long
oh
you
no,
want
I
it?
can. I've done cameos for like 3, 4 minutes, I think, for somebody once. Do you mean like how long?
I'm
Uh,
assuming it's one of those things where, say, I want you to say hi to my wife. I
uh-huh.
go on there, I click on you, set it up, fill in all the info, and then I get a video from you at some point in the next few days or something, or a week, or however long
Oh,
it takes.
oh, you mean like how long it takes to get the video?
Well, no, just even like how long. So when you record,
Uh-huh.
is there a time limit on how long? So if you're going to go, hi, Tammy, this is Kevin L. Johnson. Just want to say happy birthday. And then is that it? Or is this one of those things and that's all you get? Or is it something where you go, well, and you can just keep talking for until you run out of words to say?
Oh yeah, you could just keep going. Yeah. There's no, as far as I can tell, there's not a time limit. It
What do you
hasn't cut me
talk
off or
about?
anything.
I mean, how do
I
you
mean,
talk for in 15 seconds on that thing?
well, sometimes like when they ask you to do something, it takes a little more, it takes like a minute or two to like hit all the marks
Okay.
that they're asking for. So yeah.
All right.
And then I'll, talk about the show, and if I know they've seen the whole season, I'll be like, yeah, that was season 3 was a wild ride, wasn't it? Like, and I'll talk about that a little bit, and then end with yeah, we're gonna starting back up November 9th, so should be out uh, late next year. So get ready, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be great. I mean, it doesn't take a ton of effort from you. The fans are extremely happy. You make a little bit of cash, all good all the way
Hmm.
around.
Everybody wins.
What's like working with Ruth? What's her name?
Julia Garner.
Yes. How close is she anywhere near her character? Like her character?
No,
Okay.
no. She's a sweetheart. Um like she's a badass on set,
Yeah.
like on screen. But she's a sweetheart in real life.
That
Super
accent
super
put
sweet,
on for the show?
nice. Yeah. She's from New York.
Oh,
Um, or
okay.
she lives in New York. I'm not sure if she was born in New York, but she lives in New York.
She does a good job. It's not like a lot of people who put on that accent and you can just tell it's fake as hell. I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds real. All right, dude. Last question. I'll let you go. What's the strangest or most interesting thing that's happened to you in this business?
Oh wow. I'm trying to think. Well, I do CrossFit. I've been doing that for like 2 years, and we were doing. I don't know if it's strange, but it's interesting. We were doing like a suitcase carry outside. So we had the dumbbells in our hands, and this truck went by the gym, and then they did a U-turn in the middle of the road and turned around to come back again, and they parked right outside, and the coach was out there watching people like come in and out because the other part of the workout was like pull-ups, and I saw this truck just like, and they were just staring at me while I was doing my pull-ups. So I get back outside to start my next round of the suitcase carry, and this dad and son are like, "Are you on Ozark?" I was like, Yeah. So I mean, I get people that recognize me, which is awesome. It's like when I was Ubering, I would get people that would recognize me. So
That had to freak some people out.
like,
Have you
yeah,
as their
why?
Uber driver.
I was like, yeah, because you gotta have a side hustle.
Yeah.
So
Damn,
yeah, I would say those are the interesting.
we were obviously recognizable if the dude's in a truck and they turn around and come back just because they saw you doing CrossFit on the side of the road there.
They're probably like, man, he's a lot more jacked than he's. And I do. If you've seen, from the first 2 seasons and the third season, I definitely lost weight, and so I've gotten a lot more cut.
Yeah.
So season 4, not that I'm like, I don't want to get huge. I just want to get, cut,
Right.
more trim. So yeah, I think there'll be a little bit of a difference in season 4.
All right. Well, cool.
Like, oh my God, look at Sam. So
Well, I'm glad you like being recognized. That's a good thing. And the fact that people are recognizing you is cool, I would think, up to a point. As much
yeah,
as you can still go out of your house and eat dinner. I was in New York. I mean, this was years ago. This is probably early 80s. And we were visiting my cousin, who's the Village People dude. And we finished eating dinner and we were standing out on the sidewalk. This Mercedes pulls up and just stops. And they look at my cousin like, "You're the cowboy, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Sing YMCA for us." And he was just so I think it's probably cool to be recognized up to the point where you start getting harassed with like, stuff like that. But where you can't.
yeah, I haven't had that happen yet. It's just kind of, yeah, it's cool when you go out. I mean, obviously it's tough right now because of the pandemic, but I went out for my birthday with some buddies from CrossFit, and we sat outside at this restaurant, and there were people leaving, and they came by and they were like, "I just got to say I love the show." I was like, "Oh, thank you." So
That's cool.
so it's, if I'd been going out probably more, I'd probably be more recognized right now because after season 3, but couldn't go out that much, so who knows.
Do you have a level you want to get to as far as the recognizability part, the fame part? I mean, do you want to get to that point where you're A-list in all the top stuff and you can't go out and have a dinner without people coming up and bothering you in the middle of dinner? Is that something? I guess I'm asking, is that something are you willing to give up a peaceful dinner for the badass A-lister roles and kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. For sure. But
right.
I just want to be like a working actor, which I am, but be able to go from job to job, have something lined up before I'm finished with a job is always really, really good.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a lot like photography, I think. That's kind of the way I am. I'd like to have another job that I know is coming, down the road there. So as opposed to doing a job and then you're sitting around going, all right, hopefully the phone rings today.
I feel good about once we start shooting season 4, I feel good that I'm going to have a job lined up afterwards. I think something good's going to happen. I have to have that mentality.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm the same way. Well, man, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Everybody watching,
Absolutely.
Listening, if you like it, thumbs up it, like it, share it with your friends, all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk to you soon.